Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on November 8th, 2023, at approximately 4:22 p.m. PST. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my own day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the exact same philosophies I actually live my own life by. Now, I've offered these tools to literally thousands of clients over the years. Clients, friends, strangers, you name it. Okay, to varying degrees of success depending on their own individual efforts. And this is why I know if you pick these tools up and decide to put them to use, they will work for you as well. Again, depending on your own efforts. Now we're going to take an interesting look at the butterfly effect today. But before we get into that, let's take a look at what we got. Get the doors open, and what do we have here? We have, scroll up to the top, we have Football Cat in with the gold. Joe Stewart, you're in with the silver. And then we go down here, and Emmy Tonga, you've got the bronze. And go down a little further. Black Dragon Semper Fi, you have honorable mention. And let's see who else we got here. We have Philip Blair in the house. How you doing, Philip? Glad you can make it. And Wyatt Arno, how are you doing? So what do we got here? Heck, we are like 3 minutes into the thing, 2 minutes in, and we've already got 7 in the room. Black Dragon's here, he's got the bacon. And the Mac Geek has joined us. How you doing, Mac? Hope your day's been going well today. Now, before we even get started on this, couple of guidelines here. Number one, if you're just joining us, or if you're listening in, if you've got a question, even if it's not in the same line of what we are talking about, post the thing in the chat room. Okay, now I only keep close tabs on one chat room. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get the other one up. Well, it's not a chat room, but some people have sent me messages on my cell phone, which again I will do my best to answer. Okay, but when you post a question, put it in all caps, partial caps, or at least a wavy hand so I can find it. Okay, now if I miss a question of yours, telling me I missed it, that's great. But it would be really helpful if you just simply repost it as well. Go something to the effect of, I think you missed my question. Here it is again. That way I don't have to try and track it down. Because I will tell you, there is no way I'm anywhere near. I'm not anywhere near as proficient in tracking questions that Dave is. Now, let us see. We find one little document. That one. And we minimize that part of it. No, we don't want to do that. This, guys, is a link to Spaced Out Radio. This is where the current run of things actually got started, as many of you are well aware. So, do drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up, do subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of the thing. Now, let's see. I see somebody else here. Wyatt came in. We got that. And we have Celeste Sophia. How you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, let's go back up here a little because I think I missed a couple of questions. Oh, by the way, a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, the butterfly effect usually applies to if you go back in time and you step on a blade of grass, you can change the world. Cute thought, but we put a kink in that. It is possible I'm wrong, but every indication I've ever run across says you can't travel down and back in time in the first place. Therefore, you can't go back and possibly step on a blade of grass and kill the next president of the United States. Okay, doesn't work that way. If you can't go back, you can't do that. But the other aspect, everything you do, everything you think, everything you say, I mean literally everything, will have an effect on the environment around you. Okay, that's just the reality behind that. Now, what do we got here? I tried to stay reclusive, it didn't work out all that well for me. But, you know, the first thing we have to look at here, or at least it's wise to look at, is when we are looking at the way you're changing your world. Okay, this is an issue of making certain that you stay focused. And this is why I say you must remain true to you first, meaning make certain you don't put your life on hold just to make other people happy. I do the same thing that you guys have done, and sometimes with extremely devastating impact. Okay, so this is a question of, okay, butterfly effect. You slam the door, okay? That shockwave when you slam a door, doesn't matter which door. Okay, you slam a door, that shockwave is going to affect the people around you. Maybe it's only going to startle them, could cause a side effect of startling them to the point they spill their coffee. Now there's a sin. Now, I just want to make sure because I saw a couple of questions coming up here. And again, I do like dealing with the questions if you guys have. Well, do not kick that over. Well, I did, but I leave a lid on it. Football has asked, can tears during a stressful event create an entity? Technically, because you use the word can, technically it's possible. However, I have never, in literally all of my years, ever seen it happen. Okay. So it is technically possible, but it's one of these things I would not concern myself with. It's like the guy that I found out about that went skydiving in the mid states somewhere, jumped out of the parachute, out of the airplane, both parachutes candled, and he ended up landing softly on his feet. It can happen. I'm not recommending it. Of course, I wouldn't recommend skydiving. Okay, but no, in all fairness, that football, I have never in the entirety of my life heard of that, even heard hint of a tier-based entity evolving. Ultimately, Black Dragon, you are correct. Black Dragon's going, if you want to get technical, we live in the past of the future. There was an old saying when I was younger. It went, today is the tomorrow we dream that we talk about. Wait a minute. Today is the tomorrow we talked about yesterday. Today is also the yesterday that we will talk about tomorrow. That being said, today, tomorrow, and yesterday are the same time. Now, I'm just scrolling down here. So, what we're looking at is a very simple issue of the only time that you can affect anything is in the here and now. Okay, now, one of the things I'm looking at in the here and now, let's see, what do I got here? Those are, I got to deal with that tonight. Now, where is my sheet? Uh-oh. Did it again. At least I'm consistent. Oh, by the way, guys, for those of you that recognize this star map, okay, that's a star map. It covers 13 light years around the Sol system. Sol system being put right smack in the middle of it. That comes from a very old role-playing game called Universe. Okay, some of you guys may recognize it. Where are we here? Football goes, the story that I heard, a young girl was beaten and she cried over cracked eggs and created a monster. Well, I won't debate the story you heard. Okay, I'm certainly not going to debate the story. But I will tell you, I've never even heard a hint of it happening. Now, clearly I can no longer say that because I'm looking at this. But does crying or laughing or just sitting there twiddling your thumbs create an energy being? No. Now, there are thought forms. If you get enough people that are thinking of something, it does actually create an interesting setup. Because enough people start thinking it's real, people are going to start responding to it as though it is real. Okay, this does not change the fact that I've never, until today, I've never even heard of it. Let's see. Joe said, I used to have the DVD of the Butterfly Effect, special edition. A lady on the movie said Butterfly Effect, from the moment of birth to death are the most important, crucial times in our life. Ultimately, caffeine, this is correct. Slenderman, from what I gather, is a thought form. Okay, but this boils down to somebody came up with the idea and it took. Now, the reality of it is, if you believe in a thought form, if you believe strongly enough in a thought form, just like if you believe strongly enough in placebo medicine, it can have an impact on you. Of course, in the case of a negative thought form, you can actually kill yourself with stress. Nathan, how you doing? Did not see you come in. But now, with that in mind, Nathan is in the house, so we go to here and we copy that and we pop it down, and this is the link to Nathan's live stream. So again, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Then share the daylights out of the thing. Okay. I am going to have a problem trying to type that, trying to pronounce that typo there, Nathan. That looks like it. Well, it does say. It says thank you. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that very well, but it's clearly a typo. When you have a desire to change something, whatever you do, okay, is going to have an effect on the people around you. And this is why it is so important when you have the opportunity to say something nice to somebody, you do so. Nicely put, Celeste. Celeste goes, thank you, and Wednesday. 2 new words in 2 days. A plus. This could get to be real difficult over time. But when you go to change the way your world is working, okay, we take a look at this. What are we dealing with here? I had something. Of course, I always have something. Now I gotta figure out what I did with it. There it is. Okay. This is my live stream. Okay, didn't do that one yet. Did that one. Did that one. Haven't done those, so that's okay. Couple of things I've got on my list I've got to get done tonight. Oh, I can do that right now. We go all the way over here. Grab that sheet. Take a blank sheet of paper. I'm gonna hurt myself here. At least that's what it feels like right about now. Now we are going to have that ain't gonna work well. Oh, that's why. Because it goes. We take the center point of the healing center. Now, the center point is going to be a triangle. Then we have each, now that will go straight to the top. It'll be on top of that triangle that we end up with the housing. But we will have as you can see, art is not my strong suit. Okay, what you've got here is an aerial view. Okay, now this is about as good at my drafting as I get. We will have the center point here. Of course, we'll have a covered hallway between all of these. Okay, so you come in down the hallway and into the center part, which is where the main entrance, where the main part of the healing center, the administration side of it will sit, is right in here. Then we will have various different things going on in the towers. But here's the neat part. In between here, I'm not going to draw them square. Okay. But these rounded areas are going to be areas for arable land, i.e., growing crops, keeping smaller animals, smaller being things like chicken. This is not designed to have a cattle ranch on it. Okay. Can you picture the size of the building if we were trying to make a building big enough to put a cattle ranch in the confines? Bear in mind, We are aiming at keeping this balanced. Okay, now here's the thing. Butterfly effect is this. I've laid out this thing here. Okay. Now, this is the vision I'm looking at. But you'll notice 3 points. Okay. The stablest form available is a 3-point landing. Because you got the 2 points here. Okay. And because of the width, the weight of this one will stop the tower from toppling if it's built right. Where are we here? I gotta take a look here. Black Dragon goes, I want to change the world into bacon. Bacon. Is that anything like the old zombie film where they go, brains? Unless, of course, you're playing, unless, of course, you're watching The Simpsons. And then it's brains, peel the head off of Homer. And he's going, dough. And the poor zombie puts the lid back down and goes, brains, and walks off. I've met people that I swear are that dense. Okay. Where are we here? Go back up. Just making sure I didn't miss something. Okay, what do we got? Okay, what? Emmy, 2004, Amy Smart, Ashton Kutcher. I do not, Emmy goes, is a tulpa a spirit? Okay, now this is where I run into the problem. Hopefully football answered that down the road there. Absolutely correct, Celeste. That the fact of the matter is, when we focus on the positive side of life, that side effect, that ripple effect, that butterfly effect, is people will be left feeling better. Okay. Now, what are we here? Caffeine Go is asking, is it true that Neo Zeon and Char Aznable trying to drop the asteroid on Earth? I have no idea what they're trying to do. I will tell you, dropping an asteroid on Earth is really a bad idea. You know, the sad part is this. Okay, if mankind actually insists on focusing on destroying itself, whether humans decide to focus on destroying the world or focus on repairing it, either way, you're likely to be successful. Guess what? You can't do enough damage to kill off the planet without killing the human race. Okay, which, yeah, I'm sort of mixed feelings on that one. Celeste is going, tulpas are kind of like the Psylocke butterflies from X-Men. Sound projections that have certain effects. Kind of give an idea. Okay, yeah, in all fairness, it actually does there, Celeste. The thing that we have to look at, well, we don't have to. Here's your choice. You can look at the world around you, put blinders on, and just see it through rose-colored glasses and go, we're all going to live for all eternity. God's going to straighten it out. The aliens are going to come down and fix our mess. I don't think you want them to do that. Honestly, Caffeine, I have not actually heard of the planet called Vegeta. So I would have to say Not by that name, anyway. Now, here's the thing. If we are going to, well, oh heavens, yeah. I mean, let's face it. The asteroid hit, and people will argue. I mean, let's go back to the World Weekly News back in the early 80s. They came up with a brilliant answer as to why the dinosaurs disappeared virtually overnight. Because according to the work in the World Weekly News back in 81, 82, the dinosaurs vanished because the Martians came and stole them, along with Elvis Presley, by the way. You know, like there's a lot of cartoons that are out there. They come up with really neat names and what have you. I don't begin to try and figure out how many are based in a reality line. I can tell you the ones that I know of. Okay, somebody asked me one day if the if the if the alien from the 70s called Elf was a real species. Yeah, Nathan goes, black market Martian dinosaurs. Yeah, sounds like a great idea, but see, I Big J, the answer is no. Timelines move in a static forward motion, period. They do not sway. They do not bounce off each other and they do not cross dimensional barriers. Well, the reality there, football is going, Elvis is still alive. Okay. As long as you remember somebody, in a sense, they are still alive. But if Elvis is still alive, my understanding is they buried him. So he is one really ticked off Elvis. Okay. My guess is if you spend 50 years locked in a box underground, not only are you going to be really hungry, but you're not going to be happy when you do get out. Okay, but what we're looking at here, pick what you're aiming for. Now, here's the neat thing. That little diagram, I will be filling in bits and pieces as I go along. What is that? That's documents I got to work on. Yep, gonna eat my pen. Because that always works well. Whoop, live stream, we are active. Got that done, got that done. What is that? And we just got that out of the way. So those have to be done later. And let us move things on to the front here. This is what I mean by keeping things in track. You take a look at this list. Okay, I got to bed last night at, let me see. Today was the 8th. So, got to bed at 11 o'clock. Woke up at 1:30. Went back to bed at 4 a.m. Woke back up at 6 a.m. That's been my sleep. I haven't gone to sleep since. But in that time, this long row here, there's a few things that haven't been completed. But these are all things that I managed to get done today. And again, it boils down to one real simple issue. Get a list together. This will help you stay organized. It will help you change the way your world is working. Okay, but it's up to you. Yeah, Celeste goes, Elvis means elf, so he might just be. Technically possible. But given that my brother was a very devout Elvis fan, and boy did he go into depression when Elvis was announced dead. My brother was very much like I am in many ways, and even he corroborated the thing. Steve, how you doing? Glad you could join us. At this point, I'd call it dark. As in our weather. But I wonder what our temperature is doing. Temperature right now, according to this, is 8 degrees out. According to this funny little thing here, we are looking at about 76. About 76 Fahrenheit inside, which, by the way, it's about 24 inside right now. I don't have my heat on. Well, Black Dragon, the creation of timelines, I don't know where it started. I know where it started with this rendition of reality, but this rendition of reality is only a blink in the eye of existence. Yeah, football goes, my mom kept his death a secret when I was a child. I had his poster in my room. Yeah, my brother would love to have kept it secret. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that well for him. Okay, but I'm looking at this list here of what I'm working on, and let's just move it around where I can. So I'm just literally marking things down on this side of the tail of the sheet so I can actually make sure I stay on top of them. That's the coffee table, the current IVE file. Then we go, what's that? Expand Y12. These are just things I was striving to get to and haven't yet. So that gets out of the way. Then we have that neat little centipede race, which I just came across. Haven't gotten it transferred over yet, but at least I found the thing. We were talking yesterday about, is there a race that looks like a giant centipede? And the answer is yes. We go all the way down to there, and we go. Front cover letter for CF. Put that there. And possibly December. That I will tie off tonight. And that takes care of all those little projects that I had listed. That's only adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only moving 6. But here's the thing. Get a goal in your head. Pick a direction you desire to go to make your life better for you. The butterfly effect works this way. You start altering your life so you feel better. The natural side effect is you're going to end up treating people that you run into in a better fashion. Yeah, football is just saying I had a real connection to Elvis because of my name. The thing is, Elvis touched people in ways that were just incredible. Okay, and you notice he took all the accepted norms and went, I'm doing it my way. And he turned into an absolute generations long icon. Okay, quite frankly, every one of you has that same capacity. The question is, do you desire to step into the spotlight to that degree? Now, this icon here, okay, is going to be kind of an interesting setup. Okay, I wonder how many I've got. Let me think here. I got 7 there. And let us just open this up. Not positive. There we are. I've got to go out tomorrow and double check on something here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We are, where it comes to the poetic anthology I was talking about putting together, I'm halfway through getting it filled. This said, if you've got a poem that you would like actually printed, okay, in this anthology, all I'm going to require, and I'm just going to give this to you in verbal form right now, if you've got a poem you would like included, here's what it's going to cost. Okay, at this point. Okay, now take note, if you've got one that you would like to get that you would like to be added to the anthology. Couple of qualifiers. Number 1, okay, must be family friendly. Okay, for me to look at putting it in, and I'm just going around the whole 9 yards of how to do it in the effectively the accepted fashion. Okay, if you look below the video here, and I'm going to save you the hassle. This email address is the one to get a hold of me. Okay, if you've got a poem that you would like to get added to the poetic anthology, okay, it's going to be a small anthology, but what I'm going to require is a few things. 1, a copy of the poem for some weird reason, a letter with it stating that this is your original work, okay, and that you're giving me right to reprint it in part or in whole as is. Okay, along with, and this was literally from my printer, along with $20 Canadian. If you do that, number 1, you will still own the rights. Okay, what you do with the poem after that, that's your issue. Okay, but if you do that, you will get a copy of the anthology to your door, okay, along with that $20. Okay, just something to think about it. If that being said, absolutely, if you're interested, drop me a line. I will give you the other information again. Let me think here. Did she say 20? Just let me double check something because I've got information here. I may have just given you the wrong number. Yeah, that works. See, where is it? This neat little book. Okay, that's not the right copy. That one. This neat little book. Okay, believe in yourself and follow your dreams. This will be about the same size. Okay, and that said, okay, this is what we know. This one, and this is just for the moment. As I go through it, if I find it costs a little more, I will be getting it there. I will have to increase the price to accommodate. But the reality of it is That'll be the size of the anthology. I think that it'll handle. It'll be a little bigger than this. So hold that price thought for a moment, because tomorrow I'm going to go down and talk to my printer and get an absolute quote on it. Where are we here? Yeah, caffeine. Santa Claus is an interesting setup. Okay, and yes, I am going to be looking into Santa Claus and the whole 9 yards as to where he comes from, why he comes from, and what precisely he's up to now. But that will be in December, because I've got a rule around here. I don't talk Christmas. I don't in my house. We don't watch Christmas movies, sing Christmas songs. Okay, we don't even decorate for Christmas until December, with the exception of if you're putting lights outside, absolutely do it before it gets too cold. Emmy, here's a bizarre thought for you. Now, absolutely, you're already on meds for depression and anxiety. Not a big problem. Do not get off them until you cure the depression. And yes, depression can be cured. I know there's a lot of doctors that'll tell you they can't. Don't care. Stay on the meds you're on. If they're working, stay put. Okay, that's the important factor that you got to start with. But you desire to break the depression on why would you do that? Yeah, you caught me online. Oh shit. Okay. Huh? Okay, well I'm gonna have to shut this down and come over. Okay, give me a sec. You're here, right? You wanna walk over? Okay. You wanna do that? Wait, I'll come and get you. Okay, if you decide to stay, you gotta say something. You wanna walk over? That's gonna walk over. How we done? No, no. Yeah. Well, welcome to Family Confusion. This is what we call live stream. The youngest is old enough. He stepped up and said, "No, I'm going to walk over and solve the problem." Now, where were we here? I missed a few things. Emmy's going, "They said I'm in remission. Never heard of it put that way." I agree. Well, the thing I found where it comes to music football, you find the fastest dance-paced music you can find. Okay, crank it as high as socially acceptable and let it run in the background. What that does is it will bring your vibratory rate up. I don't very often. And most of the time when I do, it's not English. What do we got here? Missed a few things. So, yeah, we will cover the whole thing around Santa and the misconception and the effective side of it in December. I guess that's coming up, isn't it? Get some of that moved out of the way so I can actually make notes. Take that book, pop it there. That is the stuff I'm working on. This goes into this file here. No, where are we? Row, arch. Nope, not row. I. Where the heck are we? Oh, that's because that's over here. That goes on that file. This one here. Oh, I get this stuff out of the way so I can actually see what I'm doing. Which, by the way, is kind of difficult on occasion. So move that out of the way. These are what? Oh, these are the poems that are hard copy. Just got to double check, make sure I get the move right where I require it. But let us see. I think that works out really well. Think that December 1st is already booked. Oh, wait a minute. No, December 1st is not booked. So, because of the fact that me personally, I don't discuss Christmas aside from I'm working on this project for a gift. Okay. Or I'm working on this project to do something. That's one thing. But gifts can go anywhere. Due to the fact I don't listen to Christmas music, I do not have Christmas songs sung in my house, nor watch movies. Okay. Nor do we decorate until the 1st. With that in mind, December 1st, which happens to be a Friday, by the way, guys, we are going to look, and I'm marking him right now. We are going to look at Santa Claus Revealed. Okay. Now, that's a few weeks down the road in case you hadn't noticed. Now, where are we here? Um, Now, as you can see, things can change pretty quick around my world. Okay, but get an idea in your head of what you're aiming for. The neat little thing with depression, and rest assured, I fought my own. Okay. Almost gave into it a couple of times, but fortunately, never have I been depressed enough to even functionally closely consider suicide. I did consider jumping off a ferry one day, but that was curiosity. That had nothing to do with figuring I was going to die. Okay, but get an idea in your own head of what you're looking for. Now, what is that? That's December. What did I just do with November? There we are. Okay. Now, today we're looking at the butterfly effect. Now, you notice a prime example of the butterfly effect. See how fast things changed here. One thing went wrong with somebody else in another part of the city. Son of a beehive. I'm going to end up blowing this thing up sooner or later. Something took place in another part of the city, and just like that, it affected the night of both my son and I. Okay. And we're not even in the same part of the city. Now, that said, right now we're looking at the butterfly effect. Tomorrow is Thursday, so clearly I'm not going to be here. Friday, we are set up to take a look at the dimensional array, at the difference of the dimensions, how all that fits together. Okay. And then that's on the 10th. And guess where our focus is going to be on the 11th of November? That one should be easy for most people to figure out. The rest of it I haven't laid out yet. Okay. See what I got here. Let's see. Football goes, I have to problem solve at work all the time. See, problem solving is what we do in our day-to-day life. The problem in today's world is so many people are not taught how to think. They're taught what to think. This makes the option of striving to really problem solve a little problematic. And yes, in your guys' case, you guys down in the States call it Veterans Day. We call it Remembrance Day. Okay. Now, we are going to focus on that on Saturday. But understand, for me personally, I don't look at it as just that day. I'm a firm believer that anybody putting their life on the line to protect people around them, to protect the community, to protect the country, these people should be remembered daily. And the fact that so many are left sitting on the street debating, trying to figure out, you know, trying to figure out how to survive, this is absolutely unconscionable in my eyes. But I'll get into that rant later. In the meantime, okay, when we take a look at the butterfly effect, okay, I've got a whole pile of work to do tonight. As a matter of fact, where am I? Believe it is, let's get that out of my way so I can see. Get that down there, and we go to this. We go to row. Nope, that's volume 2. I don't want volume 2. Okay. Well, since I don't desire volume 2, we pop this open. We go to Phoenix. Row. Second printing. The majority of tonight is going to be spent working on the second printing, i.e., getting Races of the World into print by the end of this month. Where am I sitting right now? That's all blacked in, which is great. Archon. Okay, so Now, why, pray tell, would they say that was spelt wrong? Oh, because it's got a capital. Okay. So, yeah, I've got 11 there. So tonight, as soon as I get done this stream, I've got a few things to do, but the majority of my time tonight is going to be putting that in balance. Of course, I've already scheduled it, so on Monday I'll be sealing a lot of it down. Now, what do we got here? Minimize that. Minimize that too. Okay. Joe, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I have no idea how I would pronounce that. Oh, I see. Us. Pretty much, yep. Yeah, Emmy goes, I had to always solve problems for my three siblings, and I was the youngest. Just another quirk of being an empath. No doubt. Okay. In my case, I barely talked to my family because my self-esteem was that low. Okay. As in, I wouldn't tell people what I was feeling. I just emotionally shut down. Okay. But what we're looking at right now, and I do hope this is what's happening, quite frankly. Okay. Oh, Lord. Don't you just love people like that? We have the power. Yeah, you got the power, all right, but would you mind using your brain a little? You know, and I'm guessing they cut your power and it's not from being behind in your bill. Mind you, I've seen these geniuses do some incredible things worldwide. Well, that was noisy. The one thing I'm hoping is that the focus I'm putting on changing my life becomes at least a bit of an inspiration for you guys. Joe goes, California is a third world country. I don't want to get political, but Jesus freaking Christmas. I am so tired of all the political BS going on in this state. This is one of the reasons I don't go into the political arena. I did walk in it for 4 years on a local park society. And rest assured, the park society had a whopping, I think, 8 members on the board. Okay. And the amount of cross chatter was just absolutely stupid. Okay. Not a problem there, Joe. The one thing that I do apologize. I do appreciate the apology. The one thing that I do insist on trying to hold here is that people are safe to state their feelings within reason. We're not going down a political rabbit hole. I'm not going to go into how screwed up the medical world is or the religious world. I am starting to write articles on it, by the way, on all of the above in the newsletter I'm putting out, but the newsletter only comes to people that ask for it directly. Okay. And of course, if I'm talking to you directly, absolutely I'll tell you what I think of it. Okay. On this stream, not a prayer. Okay. And even on somebody else's stream, I would be very careful. Okay, because I don't want anybody else getting there. More to the point, I don't desire anybody else getting their stream clipped because of something I say. And rest assured, I've been known to put my foot in my mouth all the way to the hip without even blinking. See, that's the difference, Joe. Joe goes, I used to believe in football, but the NFL has become so corrupt. Okay. See, I still believe in the NFL. I don't watch sports, but I do believe in it. I know it exists, and therefore I believe in it. Okay. I never did, football I did take to watching for a little bit. In my case, my older brother was very much a football fan. Okay. But he used to watch the BC Lions. Right. Now I never had a problem watching football because they didn't very often actually get into a full-blown fight. Oh, yes, I do remember that whole thing about Paradise being wiped out. Joe goes, Pacific Gas and Electric killed all the people in Paradise. You all remember the Paradise fire, don't you? Then a year later, a fire started at the same spot from a PG&E power line and burned north. That killed 1,000,000 acres. Then the next year, a PG&E power line started to fire that burned east to burn 1,000,000 acres. And people wonder why I sit here going, guys, there's nothing wrong with having technology, but would you mind using your brains while you're doing it? Okay. The fact of the matter is, Esau will survive. She will regrow. Okay, but mankind has got to start working together. We've got to get away from some of the differentiating terminology. For instance, okay, every law that is written has got to be written to apply to all people, regardless of your pocketbook, regardless of who you're voting for, and regardless of who you're crawling into bed with. If they don't apply to everybody, the butterfly effect comes into play this way. The butterfly effect comes into play this way. If a law is passed that does not affect everybody equally, it's going to create a shockwave of discontentment around the globe. Okay, because here's what happens. It starts local, people start complaining local, and then the ripple goes out. And with today's world, it hits the internet and boom, it's gone global. Okay. Now, I gotta ask football, who are you asking if they're talking soccer? Because I will tell you, from my understanding, soccer, football, basketball, hockey, tennis, okay, pool, doesn't matter. They are all at this point very corrupt at this point. Okay, and it all has to do with that funny little factor called greed. Not a great place to be, but it's something that can be turned around. Angels are life, long time no see. Glad you could join us. And where are we? Down here somewhere. We are. Nope, that is not it. There we are. This is Angel's live stream. So, absolutely, when you get it, whoops, forgot to pop that in. Lord knows what that was for. This here is the link to Angel's live stream. Drop in, give her a listen. If you like what she has to say, absolutely give her a thumbs up and share the daylights. Subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. By working with each other, by sharing time, sharing these links, and by sharing our time with each other, okay, then quite frankly, we are able to turn the tide of where civilization is heading. But it's going to take a lot of work. Okay, it's absolutely going to take a lot of work. Now, just to be clear there, guys, if I'm talking football, I'm talking American or Canadian football, call it what you will. The rules are a little different. To me, English football, aka soccer, I still, whether people like it or not, I still split it up as soccer. And yes, I know some Englishmen will take offense to my calling soccer instead of football. Here's the kicker. I don't care. Okay. If you call kicking a ball around the field, you want to call that lemon punt. From my way of thinking, go ahead. Where are we here? Going back up to see what that conversation came in at. Yeah, in all fairness, Joe, we could certainly go down that rabbit hole. Okay, regarding energy weapons being used. I will tell you, HARP itself, yes, it does exist, but here's the kicker with it. They are certainly using it or experimenting with it, and sometimes things go a little sour. But the thing you got to remember about HARP, and no, you don't have to take my word for it. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to do your own research. But HARP itself is a first generation atmospheric generator. Okay. Now, yeah, it might be an idea to consider what they're up to before flicking a switch. But heaven forbid, we're talking about humans, can't do that much. Rest assured, I've seen other races do the same silly thing. I remember one tale of somebody that decided they did not believe, and this is way outside of Earth's vicinity. Like we're talking light years away. But there was a young chap, I think he was male, okay, centuries back in another part of the universe, as the saying goes, in a galaxy far, far away. He decided he didn't believe the scientists that said, no, you cannot start an afterburner of that magnitude inside the atmosphere because it will ignite the atmosphere. This one pilot did not believe them, went out and fired it up while inside the atmosphere. Well, flash fried the entire planet, several billion dead in a heartbeat. If you think Sodom and Gomorrah was a mess, it was nothing compared to what this guy set off. Oh, Joe, it's not a question of using HARP against you. It's a question of them taking HARP and turning around and going, let's see what happens if we do this. Understand, in order to generate an atmosphere, you gotta figure out the side effects of implementing it. Okay, it's not a question of deliberate targeting people, although I wouldn't put them past it. But from my understanding, it really boils down to an issue of trying to find out what their technology is capable of. Okay, you know the old saying, what does this button do? Okay, the reality is people are very scientifically unaware. Okay, and this, I mean, I will stand behind that quite readily. Okay. Don't you hate the hiccups? I know from my standpoint I do. Because quite frankly, they hurt. But here's the neat part about the weapons that the military around this world has. Okay, and here's the thing. This is another example of what happens. Butterfly effect. Military in one part of the world develops a new technology. Military in another part of the world goes, we require that information. All of a sudden, their attention goes to developing that science, or goes to trying to steal it. Let's take a shortcut because that always works well. Everything anybody does has a side effect. It's got an impact on the rest of the world. Picture this. I take my hand, and you're not going to see this. You're going to have to picture it up here. I take my hand. Now, we take my Coke here. Take this hand. And if I can generate enough force, which right now does not work, I move my hand just that little. For those of you that can see energy, you may be able to watch this, but a shockwave will leave my hand. I can stop the hand right there. And then the shockwave will continue on until it hits the bottle. Okay, this is the butterfly effect, or the ripple effect, if you will. Okay, hits the bottle. Depending on the power of the impact, the bottle could do one of three things. Technically one of three. It could stand its ground and the wave will break upon it, much like water on the shore. 2, it hits the bottle and sweeps the bottle away. 3, it hits the bottle and detonates the bottle, where it just comes apart in pieces. I don't like that idea. First of all, I like my Coke. Used to like my other Coke a lot better, but with the butterfly effect, whatever you do is going to affect the people around you. Absolutely there, Joe. That I'm aware of, there are at least a bare minimum of four HARP systems up and running now. And no, I cannot tell you where they are. Okay, I could tell you where I suspect them, but I like this idea. I'm not going to say a word because I got this thing. Much as I am planning on putting a DNR on my medical, I don't feel like getting shot. I don't fear death, but I will tell you, I'm not impressed with some of the methods that you can use to go. Yeah, Joe just going, I watched some weird lightning blasts come straight down, caused a huge fire on the coastal range. The neat part about it, neat part, 2003. Okay, so we're going back 20 years. We had a fire here in Kelowna that was started by a vertical lightning strike hitting the ground. At the time, we had about 100,000 people in the city. 33,000 were evacuated. Where are we here? I gotta wait for that to scroll. There we are. Joe's going, what is going on in Diego Garcia? To be frank, Joe, I don't even know where Diego Garcia is at this point. But let's see if I can find something that helps. See, you got to remember, I do not watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I don't read the news. I don't see much point to the news. Oh, military base. There we go. Now, what do we got going on here? I don't know. There we are. iVoices goes, are the aliens going to destroy HARP? Not a snowball's prayer in heck. That just about came out really bad. iVoices, here's the thing. HARP is a necessary science. Okay, same as nuclear science is a required science to get to the more advanced ones. So are they going to shut it down? No. What do we got? Okay, let's go back up here half a second and see what we got. Okay, with the tensions that I've seen as far as military tensions go, from just that little momentary look at it, number one, you got people prepping for the worst case scenario, as it were, but understand at least what they see as worst case. Okay, it is the only functional reason I can think of for going, no, all of our celebrations, we're shutting them down because things have gotten out of hand. Now, when we say, Ferret, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I would be inclined to say you start shutting down military celebrations. And like I said, I am very much in favor of the military, but do understand something very important here. The original purpose of the militia was to protect the country or the city or the town you were living in, okay, from attack. It started off protecting from the wild animals. Then it got stupid. Now people are going, we'll take the military, a defensive organization, and use it to move in and take somebody else's territory. Now, the stupid part is this. I've shown you this thing before. The Bible. God loves everybody. So why, pray tell, is there so much talk in the first few chapters of go out and kill everybody? If God loves everybody, why is there so much information in here on how to go about hurting each other? How about if we start focusing on how to go about helping each other? Where are we? It's the most remote location of a, yeah, in the middle of an ocean, yeah. Yeah, when you start doing odd things out in the middle of an ocean, understand something very important. Let's assume that the military over in Diego Garcia, okay, let's just assume they do something absolutely stupid. If you're in the middle of an ocean, okay, that ocean will turn that whole area completely upside down and won't even slow down at the shore. Okay, we just have to remember mankind does not have the strength that it thinks it does. Ultimately, Black Dragon, you're absolutely right. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, but live for the moment. Okay. Now, before anybody jumps on that any further than you probably have in your own mind already, we can safely say no, nobody's in danger of the off-worlders coming in and taking over. Not going to happen. Okay, for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is they've got no interest in it. I mean, let me ask you this. Given that they're watching what's going on and they're studying it, why blow the place up? Why not let it run its course so they can see what's going on? Now, do I feel our world is going to end anytime soon? No, but I will tell you this. The world that you knew 2 years ago has changed. Okay, and now it is up to us to turn around and flip it back over so that it can actually move forward in a positive direction. This is in your guys' hands. Okay, I can show you the tools. Absolutely, I can. Okay, I saw the fall of the Roman Empire. Heck, I was right smack in the middle of the dang thing. I saw the collapse of the essentially of the monarchies. There were a few diehards that are still alive today. Most of them collapsed. Yeah, absolutely. They're black. Chad, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, where are we? YouTube, here we are. This is the link to Chad's archives. There we are. And we copy that there. Pop that down here. So drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Oh, Joe's just repeating. Joe just posted here. That move you're so far afraid to make may be the game changer. That was an empath post on Facebook I saw. Absolutely. This is one of the reasons why I look at the whole 9 yards and go, we have to start looking at this and go, what are we going to do? Yeah, don't we though, Chad? Right now, let me hit refresh just because I'm curious. We are looking at 576 subscribers, so we are edging up there. Okay. And on top of that, we've got 12 in the chat room right now. Let me hit refresh on that as well. Just to get it close. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, no, let's not do that since we're live. We'll leave that alone. Oh, thank you so much, Joe. That's a little piece of trivia I honestly didn't know. Okay, but Joe Monk has just told us the whole 9 yards comes from the fact that in World War II, 50 caliber bullets in airplanes had 9 yards of bullets. That I did not know. And for those of you that don't do math well, that makes it 27 feet. Okay. So I mean, you're looking at an awful pile of firepower. Now, from my standpoint, and I will still stand my ground on this one, I am a firm believer that war has never, in all of history, whether it's recorded by humans or not, doesn't matter. War has never brought peace, ever. Yeah. Joe goes, I have a 50 cal, but it only shoots one bullet at a time. In the Yldrbacian Chronicles, I think you'll get a kick out of this one, Joe. Oswald is a character that somebody built. Okay, and he's got a 460 Magnum, a heavily modified 460 Magnum rifle that was chopped down to a carbine length barrel. Thunderpaws, on the other hand, ended up packing around a 50 caliber rifle. Okay, which may give you an idea of the size of these guys' weapons. But realistically, Joe, if you're you, I'm guessing you don't take that rifle of yours, that 50 caliber out. I bet dollars to donuts you don't go hunting with it. Because I'll tell you, you won't have anything left of whatever you hit. That's why when I watched all of the Rambo movies, all of that whole 9 yards, Rambo, First Blood, etc. It wasn't until they got to the fourth one that they showed what the bullets really do. And yes, I'm a firm believer. War is a great thing. It's a great thing for movies and storylines. It's absolutely lousy in real life. But it is time. No, it is way overdue time that we start looking at the side effects of what we're choosing to do. What you got to remember is this. Anything you do doesn't matter. Oh, Joe goes, I don't kill anything anymore, just the way I am. Yeah, my dad wouldn't even take me hunting, thankfully. But we can do one of two things. We can continue looking at all this negative stuff that's being propagated, that we're being bombarded with, across the globe. Political, pedagogical, parental, and the priesthood. All of them are telling you, fear the day. Fear every moment of everything. Like, this is a good way to bring joy. I'm not entirely certain, but if you surround yourself with images of depression, images of pain, Angels goes, grew up fishing, rod in my hand about at 2 years old. See, I used to fish off King Coho in Comox, right? But we were catch and release, which again is cruel anyway. But the thing is, yeah, it caused a little bit of pain for the bullhead, except for one in particular. So we'd reel them in, and then we take the hook out of them and let them go. Not nice. Okay, like I said, I wasn't always the way I am, but a lot has changed over the years. You know, the fact of the matter is, when we look at where the world is, okay, where are we here? Oh, okay. When we look at the world, what we have to remember, okay, is you have the ability to change the direction it's heading in. Okay, you absolutely do. Joe is adding, in that movie with Steve Carell, Dan in real life, he's in a coffee shop, bookstore, and he gets the women by his sense of humor. Later, he finds out that women is okay. That woman is dating his brother. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a painful setup. But again, when we start taking a look at things, ask yourself, are you content with where your life is sitting? Now, let me see here. That was all dealt with, so that's important. Leave that there for the moment. And that stuff that is dealt with, those are all, what are those? Those are the poems I gotta move around. What I'm looking at, striving to encourage people to do, is band together, not to fight each other, not to storm the Capitol building. There's no point in storming the Capitol building unless people start changing the way they're thinking. You take one person out of cabinet and you put another one in. The system is designed perfectly. Okay, it really is. It perpetuates itself, which was the whole idea. Problem is, you put leaders in that are of a negative ilk, okay, are of a self-serving mentality. No matter what you do, the people coming in are fighting an uphill battle to get things changed. Okay, but I encourage you to dig your heels in and become that change. This is why, as I put this whole empire together, this is why I'm focusing on how do I make this change last. Now, right now, when I get off this phone, I gotta work on finances a little. Okay, right now they're sitting in pretty decent shape. That's a really weird way to look at it when you think of what the balance really looks like. What do we got here? Just looking up to see what Black Dragon said here. You know, the reality of it is this. The butterfly effect boils down to this. You go out of your house, you run into a stranger, and maybe that stranger is having a bad day. You turn around and you go, good afternoon. No expectation, no nothing, just good afternoon, and you carry on. That good afternoon may be all it requires to brighten that person's day up. Net result, they will treat the next person in line a little better. It doesn't mean everything will turn at the same time. It means we've got a starting place. Okay. I remember I was on a trip one day and I just got back. I'd just flown back into town. I happened to have all my gear with me. But I glanced over and I saw the girl working the baggage claim. Okay. I saw what she was going through. So I went over. I was not in a rush. So I waited in line. It was a good 15, 20 minutes. Okay. And she was just having a miserable day. So I waited in line and finally got to the front of the counter. And she looked at me and she goes, how can I help you, sir? I looked at her and I said, not a problem. I said, I just wanted to come over. It looked like you were having a bad day. So I figured I'd just come over and tell you, look, I had a great flight, treated really well. All my bags arrived in the right place at the right time. I just want to say thank you. And she looks at me and goes, no, really, sir, how can I help you? I says, no, you don't get it. That is the reality of it. Okay, I says, you guys get handed flack after flack after flack. I said, I figure it's only fair if you're always going to get the flack. Why not come over and let you know something was being done right? And the look on her face when it finally clued in, that's all I was doing, was absolutely brilliant. You know, and that's something I voices. The answer is absolutely yes, I can. Okay, there's a lot that I can pick up, whether it's over the internet, whether it's I used to read years ago. I read by snail mail. Okay, people would send me a written list of letters along with a photograph of themselves and a list of questions along with a photograph of themselves. And I read for a good 10 years only by land mail. Oops. Well, that would be annoying, unless you like having nosebleeds. Yeah, in all fairness, I didn't actually watch that movie. Okay, but some of the movies that come out are absolutely brilliant. Like years and years ago, I used to love watching in the 70s. I think it was the 70s, a movie called Scanners. Now, as long as you didn't pay attention to their faces, but how else were they going to show you the psychic phenomenon taking place? You know, here's the thing, Black Dragon. There's a lot of speculation as to what the military is up to. I will tell you this. Military is something just like the police are a force that is required. And yes, there's a lot of idiots that end up in the military on the police force. But understand, take a look at the number of idiots that end up just simply working in a fast food restaurant, being a burden on society, working in a sales department. There's an extreme abundance of idiotic people. So we can't really blame, you can't really look at the military and go, well, there's all this corruption and all this going on. That is a global problem. And it has taken generations to make it as bad as it is. Therefore, you guys coming up behind us, I hate to do this to you. I will help as much as I can, but it falls to you guys and your kids to stop permitting this stupidity to continue. Okay, and yeah, I absolutely call it stupidity. I know somebody's gonna get mad and go, "Oh, you calling that stupid?" People are gonna get offended. Quite frankly, hope so, but really don't care. Because here's the thing. Maybe if somebody starts feeling like they're doing something stupid, maybe they'll stop doing something stupid. I'm not holding my breath. But mankind is at that turning point right this minute. Okay, that I'm aware of. And I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the reports. I don't read the reports. From my knowledge, Canada, US, China, and Russia are all on the verge of a civil war. It is up to you guys in those countries to put an end to this threat. Okay, you don't like what the government is doing, that's no problem. Okay, overthrowing it doesn't work. It only creates chaos and a lot of problems. However, getting active, getting involved, learning what's going on in the political field, it's going to take a lot of work from a lot of people. Okay, the butterfly effect boils down to this. Enough people get together and start working to change the path life is on, and we can change things. Wyatt's going, night all, think I'll head to Valhalla, tell some stories and maybe a few lines. Maybe even drink an ale. Yeah, have a good night, Wyatt. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate the fact you your time with us here. Yeah, the neat part there, Nathan, is that when we're talking about when we're talking about the Galactic Consortium, some people have pulled it off. Okay, and the reality of it is mankind is on the verge of either making that break or blowing yourselves back to the Stone Ages. See, that's the one difference there, Joe. From my standpoint, I don't hate humans. Okay, I definitely disapprove of what they're up to. Absolutely. But the thing you got to remember, the people that are alive today, there has been centuries of misinformation and misguidance. Okay, and that's where the big problem is coming in. Now, what do we got here? Big J, I did not see you come in, I don't think. Maybe I did. But glad you chose to join us. Hopefully your day's been going well. At this point in life, we really have to start looking at things and going, where are we heading? Joe, disapproving of humans of what they are doing is a question of disapproving of the actions, not of the people, just to be clear, at least in my eyes. Okay. Oh, that hurt. Oh, all I did there was just pop my ankle back into place. The reality of it is this. Okay, humans are making some pretty stupid moves, but understand I have not seen an off-world race that isn't making some of the same stupid maneuvers. Okay, people have to realize, start to think about what you're doing. Okay, it is a question of learning how to think, not what to think. Oh, you'd be amazed, Joe, how many people have told me the aliens, all the off-worlders, know exactly how to run a civilization. If that were the case, they wouldn't have that I'm aware of three major wars going on. okay, that I'm aware of. Not to mention the little civil wars that they got popping around the place. But off-worlders and ancient races alike still make the same stupid maneuvers. This is why I say, spiritually speaking, they really aren't that far ahead. Yeah, Joe's going, are some of the aliens fighting each other? Absolutely. Strazazians are at odds with the Teklak, but the Teklak are right smack in the middle of a civil war of their own. Okay, because their people no longer 100% support the governmental direction things have been going in. Okay, there are some battles going on there, just no. Okay, absolutely. The thing they've got that is they've got better weaponry, which, by the way, does not mean they're better at it. It does, however, mean the technology they have does preclude mankind from having a prayer of defending itself. One of the things that the off-worlders are looking at, and it's weird because when we talk about the butterfly effect, so many people think it applies to Earth. You do something on Earth, that echo, the moment you do something, whether it's good or bad, you do it in this point right here at this point. That echo literally goes from here and then spreads out in all directions. Now, I've only got a few fingers to work with, but picture the rest of them. Okay, the minute an event happens, it creates an echo effect that reaches out and continues to expand to hit everything in front of it on an ever-expanding cone. Or more to the point, an ever-expanding globe. Okay, because the bubble goes from this size and just continues to grow. And that little neat stuff there, take your hands, put them palms together about half an inch to an inch apart. You'll feel energy between them. Okay, now how you describe that energy is up to you. Um, Joe, I wish I could give you an answer there. Joe goes, so the aliens haven't figured out. Why is everybody twisted? Because we haven't figured it out. I'm still working on that one, Joe. And if I ever figure that out, I'll let you know. Other than humans have an ego that is absolutely insane. Okay, it really is. iVoices goes, the entire universe is in chaos, madness that influences all races, Keith. Absolutely. Here's the thing. The layout of the universe was built on absolute pure logic. It was built to work in a very specific fashion. Where the variable came in was when every being was given, and I mean every being was given free choice, but not freedom from consequence. Okay. The moment you get free will and free choice, you have chaos. Net result, on the one hand, you've got a system built perfectly. On the other hand, you have the counterpart of a system that was just kind of gone, well, here's a bunch of emotions, let's drop them into a blender and flick the thing on and see what comes out. And yes, there is that counterpoint where you get an extreme on the logic side running into an extreme on the instinct side, and it balances out to a null point. Oh, Joe, scrap the possible. Okay, Joe's going, isn't it possible that many of the aliens are afraid of humans because humans didn't take, yeah. Well, didn't and got wiped out. Oh, didn't take sheep of people. You're using another word, I just don't. Okay. Number one, one of the off-worlder, one of the consortium's conglomerate concern is that mankind is highly aggressive, highly intuitive, and the only race capable of taking literally 0 point energy and manipulating reality to their will. If mankind would start working together, we could do what the Mobians are doing. Mobians have physical manifestation down to a fine art. And it's because they don't have war, they don't have jealousy, they don't have greed. Okay, they discarded those and went to the unity and to the unilateral acceptance of each other. Okay, when mankind starts pulling together, we're going to see the world change a lot for the better. Okay, it's just one of these things that we've got to take into consideration, or at least it would be advisable. Now, remember when I mentioned that all that laws have to apply to everything? Karmic law applies to everything out there, God Himself included, or herself, or itself, or their self. Call it what you will. Okay, even God or the gods are affected by karmic law. In other words, be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. And no, Joe, in all fairness, humans won't. Humans will eventually evolve to the point where they won't desire to rule the universe. Right now, they are so focused on we can have everything we want and that we want because we're human and we're that good. Okay, humans are not the most arrogant race I've run into, but they do rank up there. Okay, but the only thing that's going to rule the universe is the universe itself. Understand, humans are these tiny little specks. And even you take a look at the Gaboran, the Archon. Okay, both of these races, Esau, the Gaboran you're living on, all she has to do is flip upside down in a hurry, and she can roll over. She's done it before. Okay, it plays absolute havoc with everything that you're going through, your own body's included. Okay, now when you look at the Archon started off as a tiny microscopic individual and eventually grow to the size of a planet. They literally eat asteroids for dinner. Okay, so we are not talking about pushover people. Mankind has trained itself to believe that it can chase any alien invasion away. Not going to happen. Okay, I love the storylines that go, oh, we can do this. It makes for a great storyline. Really does. I still watch ID4, Independence Day. I still watch it regularly. And I love the way they do it, but you got to understand the limitations. Taking a Terran computer to build a virus to hook up to an alien computer is akin to taking an abacus and trying to rewire it to work with an IBM supercomputer. Bear in mind, off-world computers use a biomagnetic flux holographic interface. Humans use electronics. Okay, kind of backwoods. Just a thought. Okay, off-worlders use crystal communication lines. Okay, crystalline broadcast. Humans use copper wires. Okay, so we are not talking about technologically advanced. Oh, I have no doubt, Joe, that there are humans that do want to rule the universe. But you take that word want, okay, the moment somebody says, I want to rule the universe because I'm that good, I deserve that. What you're actually telling the universe is, I desire to experience a lack of ruling the universe because I'm that arrogant, I'm that stupid, and I'm that self-centered that I'm asking for you not to give it to me. Rest assured, I think that's a paraphrase. I don't think that's how humans usually phrase it. Nathan, you and I are going to have to sit down one day. Okay. Well, I guess we technically don't have to. But yes, I am sitting on schematics. My schematics, though, are here. Okay. The thing with crystalline computers is they work better than human computers. The drawback with them is we don't have the interfaces yet. That can be your job. I think you're working on a hoverbike at this point, or something to that effect. There's a major drawback there, Black. Black goes, I'm working on a computer built with bacon. Not too going well. When it overheats, I have to eat it. Yep, that's going to cause a problem. Although, on the other hand, when it overheats and you have to eat it. Oh, absolutely it is, Nathan. When you overheat a baking computer, at least the parts don't go in the dump. Okay, they end up going into the sewer. Absolutely there, Joe. And remember one thing about spirit guides, people. A spirit guide will never tell you, go out and hurt somebody, go out and embarrass somebody, go out and take advantage of somebody. They will invariably push you to be the better person, to be the one that sticks out a hand to help, without cutting your own hand off in the process. Okay, these are just some of the things that we are learning. Okay, and it's very important that you keep in mind, whatever it is you put effort into, this is what is going to change the world. Whether it changes it for the good or for the bad depends entirely on where you put your focus. Okay, what do I got here? Let's refresh that and see what we're up to. I was just looking to see where we're at. We're sitting at 576 subscribers. I don't know what the layout is just yet. Oh, there we go. And Nathan's going, a friend of mine was confusing her manifestation of ego for her guide, been talking her through it. Yeah, absolutely. Because the moment you start looking at, like, I'm looking at building an empire, I absolutely am. But understanding the middle of building that, sad part there, Joe, I see men and women alike, and from all walks of life, all ages, do the exact same thing. But that's because society is teaching people to do that. Okay. You take a look at what they tell you require, and you really have to take a step back. Absolutely, I agree with you there, Joe. Joe's just saying that older female guide that whispered to me the other night, she did that for a reason. I know that for sure. Absolutely, they won't bother opening the door for small talk. Now, in my case, I have learned how to talk to them on a much more casual base. But then they know I'm not going to do what I'm told anyway. You know, but I will tell you this. Reach out to the people around you. Find out how to talk to people that have done what you're aiming for successfully. Find out what they felt the mistakes were that they made and how did they get to the success level they're at. This is a question of finding out the answer so you don't have to learn it the hard way. If there's one thing I'm striving to do, probably above most else, is to share what I've gone through so you don't have to go through it yourself. Okay, I don't know about you, but I know from my standpoint, I don't like the negative runs. To me, they're just a pain in the neck. You know, so I'm looking at this world going, okay, how do we change it? Now, I've got a number of things I'm working on, not the least of which is making certain that the excess stuff I've got, like, no, not that book. These are all poems that were written, that were handwritten. Okay. They've all been transcribed onto soft copy. I'm printing all of these off. These handwritten ones can go as a copy. Because in that fact, I'll be able to go, okay, I've got the copies I require. Joe's going, I dreamed the other night that there was a weird yellow thing on me. I fought it and it was just a dream. Oh, I fought it. Let me see here. I fought it and beat it. Was that just a dream or something else? In all likelihood, Joe, with the information you've got that you've given there, I would lay odds it is just a dream. Sometimes a dream is just a way for your body to relieve excess stress. Okay. Now, the fact of the matter is, if you're going down a path that's a little too rough, okay, maybe you're pushing too hard to get to an answer that you're not quite frankly ready for yet. Sun representing or yellow representing literally the sun shows up and is trying to drown you in a manner of speaking. Okay, but the fact that you got it reined in, and as you put it, beat it, says you're going to get to the answers you're looking for. Just slow things down a little. Don't let your impatience get the better of you. Okay, Lord knows I've fought my demons over over the idea of not having enough time. Okay, or being out of time the whole 9 yards. There we go. Black's going, I used to have old crystal radio technology to add it to the computer, but that was years ago. I have many concepts for using crystals in computers since then. See, I turned them over to the military museum here in town. I stumbled across a couple of World War II Manpack radios that were still working. Elaine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The butterfly effect really boils down to this. Usually people talk about the butterfly effect in respect to going back in time. You move something, you can change everything. Okay, but we got to eliminate the issue of back in time because from my standpoint, not doable. You can jump forward in time, but in the here and now, the butterfly effect boils down to this. Whatever you start putting your effort into, it's going to have an effect on the people in the area around you. Okay, as people start pulling together and working towards that same thing being, okay, guys, don't care what part of the world you're in, Don't care what your political alignment is. Take your guns, all of you. Put the guns gently on the ground. You want to keep your guns? Have a happy. But quit shooting each other with them. Okay, and I'm talking both sides of any war. War has never brought peace, ever in all of recorded history on any world I've been to. Okay. So from that standpoint, we're looking at the fact of take responsibility for your own actions. Okay. You can think what you will, because contrary to some people, some belief structures, thinking about doing something is not as bad as doing it. If it were, just take it from my end. If it were as bad to think about it, the war over in the Middle East would be gone just that quick. All of the war would be over. You wouldn't like the outcome, I can virtually guarantee it. Okay, but then I've witnessed a lot of wars over the centuries, and frankly, none of them have worked out well. The nice part about it is as long as you stay focused on the positive things that you can accomplish instead of on the negative things that you may be able to cause, you'll find that your life turns around for the better. Yeah, no, Joe. I mean, when I was talking about putting them on the ground, I don't necessarily mean literally on the ground. Keep your guns, put them someplace safe. I'm a firm believer that locking them up in a safe with your bullets at the other end of the house, little overkill. Teach the people not to pick them up and point at each other. And I mean, teach your own people. Let it spread out. All of the laws in the world. You cannot legislate intelligence nor compassion. Okay, you really can't. I mean, you can think about it, but there's the old saying that duct tape can't cure everything, but it can muffle the sound of stupidity. Okay, it really is time that, like, the weapons that we've talked about here are nothing compared to what's out there. They're kind of like broken slingshots. Pick the best weapon you can think of, and I'll tell you there's something worse. Okay, but it doesn't matter where you come from, war is not a good option. Where are we here? Okay, now, yeah, 2x4 with nail in it, that can be used. I don't like the idea personally, but what the heck? Now, we are at the 2-hour mark. So again, guys, tomorrow is Thursday, so I won't be here. On Friday, we're going to be taking a look at the configurations of different dimensions and the whole cross current between them. With that in mind, thank you so much for sharing your time with me tonight. I really appreciate it. Okay, I will be back again on Friday, and by the way, Friday is also my time on Spaced Out Radio. Okay, and with that in mind, I will be back. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, what time on Friday? 9 p.m. Pacific until 11 p.m. Pacific. That is when we're back on Spaced Out. Well, I do feel for you there. I can't do much about that one. But just to put things in perspective there, Elaine, on Tuesdays here, or no, not on Tuesdays, on Mondays here, I tend to strive to look at the alien factor. Okay, it was something that seemed to become a desire here from a lot of the people. So we've gone to doing that on Mondays here. Now, with that in mind, I will be back again, but until then, do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.